Hello, quilting friends. Even though the end of May is not the technical halfway point of the year, it does seem like a natural transition. Kids are done with school, they're getting ready for summer vacation in the US. We've transitioned from spring into summer, and that's a good time to take stock. I want to look back to January, the beginning of the year, when I shared 4 quilting projects that I wanted to focus on. You'll be surprised at the progress I've made, and I also want to share a few other projects that have caught my attention over the last few months. One of the big projects this year has been a temperature quilt. If you're not familiar with the concept, the idea of a temperature quilt is to choose fabrics that represent the high and the low temperatures in whatever city you choose. It could be the place that you live or some special city, town across the world that you can track the temperatures. And you could even go all the way back to your birth year if you wanted to, because historical records, the internet being what it is, you can find that information. So what I decided to do for the Phoenix 2025 temperatures is to use this half rectangle triangle block. And the bottom left is the low temperature of the day, and then the upper right is the high temperature. And I've got all of the first 4 months done. This is January through April of 2025. And I'm planning a horizontal layout. So it's a little bit bigger than my arm span. And you know, you could say, oh, just turn it vertical. Well, I sewed it together. This is January and this is April. So reading from left to right, it's not going to make sense if I turn it vertically. So we'll just continue on with our horizontal layout. And this is looking pretty cool. I love the effect of seeing the range of temperatures as those greens for the high temperatures in the 60s and 70s become the low temperatures as we move into these very hot days of a desert Southwest United States summer, which is, some people compare to the surface of the sun. So we'll see how it turns out. Another project that I wanted to finish up that is actually carried over from last fall is my jelly chain quilt. Now, this was put together, I'm trying not to hide my face. This quilt was put together for Jelly Roll Day, which falls in September every year. So I had most of the blocks done, and you can see I've put them together, and we are at a good lap throw size quilt. So I just need to find a fun backing and put this on the long arm. And we have a charity effort in my guild, and there is a family crisis center that we support, and I think this will be perfect. I think it would bring a lot of cheer to some kids or a family in distress. So I'm looking forward to finishing this as a donation. I have a finish. This quilt is absolutely finished. It has a binding and everything. I worked on this through several of my live broadcasts, and it got started back in February, March. I was teaching a beginner class, and they wanted to do something after we finished the initial design of a little sampler quilt. And so I thought these snowballs and 9-patch blocks that you see in the center of the quilt would be a great beginner project, jelly roll friendly. They could, easily put things together. They learn a little bit about stitch and flip with the snowball blocks, and of course, matching your points on a 9-patch is a great skill builder for beginners. So we made these blocks in class, and then since I was using my Patriotic scraps, I wanted to bring this up to a size that would work for Quilts of Valor. So I added these rows with friendship stars, a few more borders, and got this all finished as another donation quilt. I can't let a quilt holiday pass me by. So when Kimberly from the Fat Quarter Shop announced Sew a Jolly Bar Day, I said, yes, please, I'm in. So I got this Patriotic Jolly Bar package and again, played with my half rectangle triangles and put this quilt together. It's just at flimsy stage right now, but I do plan to add a couple more borders, and then again, this will be a perfect size for Quilts of Valor. One of the big quilt shows every year is QuiltCon, and if you remember back in February, QuiltCon was held in Phoenix in 2025, and I found some wonderful quilting goodies. One of them was the quick straight ruler from So Kind of Wonderful, and this pattern Northern Lights. So I immediately did a fabric pull and had fun putting these half rectangle triangles together. So again, I have another quilt at the flimsy stage. This is Northern Lights, and I'm trying to show you the center there, and then each of those quadrants come together. And this quilt does not have borders. It's a nice modern layout with all of those pretty half rectangle triangles. So I need to get busy at the long arm with all of these quilts at the flimsy stage. Should I do custom or pantograph on this? Let me know what you think. Certain designs cry out for those custom free motion quilting designs, but on the other hand, things tend to get finished a little faster if you use a pantograph. So let me know your thoughts on quilting designs in the comments below. This quilt is my entry in the Cherrywood challenge from 2025, and this was another impulse purchase at QuiltCon. I just loved these gradients in the water ocean colors, from this really nice light blue turquoise to these greeny blues and then into the navy blue, and such fun accent colors. So for the Cherrywood challenge, I knew that I could not create the wonderful applique type art quilts. So I went to my favorite technique of paper piecing and found two different alphabets online that I thought would embody this quote of still water runs deep, that this nice straight portion for the upper letters and then the more intricate piecing for the deep word, and just the idea that your thoughts can bubble up. And let's take a closer look. I really wanted the quilting to evolve as you move from the top of the quilt to the bottom. So I started with some straight line quilting and then kind of a watery design there, just gentle curves back and forth, and then more wavy lines, and you can see some of the bubbles that I added from the lettering. And then I really got intricate with swirls and more flowing lines there bubbling up from the deep water. So I haven't heard yet if this has been selected to go on display, but you, my friends, will be the first to know when I get that notification. Let's talk about my friends at Cotton Cuts. This has been such a wonderful experience sewing with their pre-cut kits. I started with the Floral States of America, and these are just some of the blocks that I've put together this year. There was a little bit of delay in shipping, supply chain issues, getting some of the fabrics out to us, so that we took a pause in the middle, but I've got quite a few of the blocks done. And you can see on these that I've been writing in the state name and the flower on each of these blocks. So this pile is all done. I've got another group of blocks that I'm keeping the postcard with the pattern and the block because I need the information on the back. But these blocks, like my favorite home state of Arizona, there's no white in this block, so I can't write the state name and the state flower. So I need to practice with my machine embroidery stitches and see if I can get the printing to fit just in some of this blank space on the blocks for these few blocks that don't have any white fabric. And then as I was getting organized here, I found 3 more kits. I thought I was done, but of course Hawaii is 5-0, the 50th state in our United States, and I still need to do South Dakota and Alaska. So watch for those blocks coming up on a live stream. Since Wild West finished this quarter, I am diving right into Flyway, which is the Spring 2025 Puzzle Mystery Quilt. And when you buy the prepaid kit, it comes all in one nice box so you can keep everything organized. So let's see what we've done so far. I've been sewing with the Odyssey colorway, and I've got some star points. There were clue 4, and we had some additional square units from clue 3. And that's what I love about Cotton Cuts, is they describe this as a puzzle mystery, not a mystery quilt along where you're making blocks. You don't know exactly how these pieces and parts are going to do. It's not like you make 3 blocks and then set them aside and you'll make the next row. And we've got some more square and a square units for clues 1 and 2. They had us make, you know, here's some more star points that may connect to that unit at the end. So we're almost halfway. We've done 4 clues out of the 10. So we will keep sewing on the Flyway mystery. And we've got another mystery from Cotton Cuts called Under the Sea. And that will kick off here in the next couple months, I think. So there's time to sign up. If you missed out on Flyway and want to join in on the next puzzle mystery, we'd love to have you sew along. Yes, I have been busy, and my mind is still spinning with more ideas. So stay tuned for more adventures in the weeks to come. Thanks for watching. And if you missed my Wild West Puzzle Mystery Quilt reveal, watch this video next.